What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Friday, March 1st, 2024, and meteorological spring has begun in the northern hemisphere. We're standing at Polderbaan today, being used for arrivals as runway 18 right. The first airplane to land on the stream of today is KLM flight 676, returning from Edmonton, Canada, a 777-200, 8 hours and 1 minute underway. 19-year-old airplane, first flight January 2005. And would you believe it? Meteorological spring has begun. And to celebrate, the sun is also out. Not the entire day though. There is rain coming, expected in the afternoon, arriving from the west. All weather extrapolations seem to indicate that it will start to rain from the west after the A380 has landed. So if all goes well, we should be able to stick around until the A380 has landed, and there are no less than 5 747s coming this way before it. Macro overview, this is looking to the south, where also the wind is blowing from, as you can see in the water. Looking to the southwest, a couple of clouds. Traffic to the north, once again visible, coming our way, KLM 737. Looking to the west, this is what it looks like. Morning, folks. This is what the east looks like right now. And let's quickly turn back to the runway. Speedbird flight 430, arriving from London Heathrow, up next. And we've got another KLM heavy arriving from Canada after it. Ooh, butt shot in the making. First butt shot of the day, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of British Airways. Thank you so much for that, British Airways. A very good morning to everybody who has tuned in already. Hope you're doing well. Over here it is lovely weather. Also a big thank you to Snorri for 8 months of continued membership already. He says good morning to you too, Snorri, and thank you so much for your continued support, mate. Very much appreciated. Hope you still like it in the lounge. If something is not to your liking, do let me know. Our next airplane is KLM flight 682, arriving from Vancouver. Flight time 8 hours 57 minutes. A330-300, 11 years old, began flying in January 2013. Voice still a bit hoarse, as you guys can hear. Persistent cough. Slowly but surely getting less intensive, but haven't had such a persistent cough after having caught a cold for years now. Hopefully it makes me stronger for the future. As you guys can see and probably hear on the mic as well, the wind is blowing. It's not wind still, mostly headwind, not a lot of crabbing, but glide slope shots. We can see the glide slope perfectly fine. Two on them at the moment. The first one being an A320 from EasyJet arriving from London Luton. In the background is Finnair flight 1301, an A320 arriving from Helsinki. EasyJet flight 22513 arriving from London Luton. It's an A320neo, flight time 44 minutes. 5-year-old airplane, first flight August 2018. There's a tractor coming my way on the cycling path from the north, which you will probably hear. With lumber. Righty, Finnair flight 1301 up next. And also a big thank you to RonStreams20, who celebrates 4 months of membership. He writes, "Good day and good morning, boy. Great stream as always. Thank you for your kind words there. And also thank you for your continued support, Ron. Hope you are going to stay a valued member for many more months to come. And if not a member, then at least a frequent visitor." And the same goes for Big Al. Alan celebrating 6 months of membership. And he writes, "Good morning. I'm home and you're still a legend. Back from Memphis. Hopefully not too... what's the term? Jet lagged. Still early here. Hope you've had a good trip to Memphis, Big Al. And thank you for your continued support as well, Alan. Hadi Roy, goedemorgen. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime. Martin, Evan, top of the morning to you, sir. Hope all is well over there on the West Coast. Now, little Finnish butt shot to finish off with. Jinshin through cashier. Jens, good morning all. Jackie, Maria. Another triple inbound from Johannesburg. KLM flight 592, 777-200. In the background looks like another big bird, and that would be Delta Airlines flight 162, A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And you might pick up on the sound of outbound traffic, and they are, well, visible, but need to look for it. Not going to do that when the touchdown is so close by. This airplane now touching down after 10.5 hours of flight from Johannesburg back to the Netherlands. Now, next up, Delta Airlines flight 162, A330-300, arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota, flight time 7 hours and 34 minutes. The airplane is 21 years old, began flying in January of the year 2003. And also a very big thank you to Roy for 10 months of membership already. Beautiful things happen in 10 months, he writes. You're absolutely right, Roy. Thank you so much for your continued support. If something is not to your liking, do let me know. I have a suggestion box in the member section. Goes for all members. And thank you so much, Roy. And if not as a valued member, then I hope you are going to stay a frequent visitor like you have been over the last year for many more months to come. Oh man, that was not the audio I was hoping for. Good morning to Art and to Aaron. QJ says, I don't like the sad weather, boy. I like more sunny. Well, I totally agree with you. I'm not sure how long we're going to keep it fully sunny, because it does look like more clouds are drifting in from the southwest now. This is where the wind is blowing from, more or less, and also what is coming our way. Right, let's take in that glide slope shot. Another 2 airplane glide slope shot. Is there a third one somewhere visible? Hard to see for me on my screen out here. To begin with, Lufthansa flight 988 comes in from Frankfurt. An A320, 45 minutes of flight time. 13-year-old airplane, first flight April 2010. The airplane in the background is a bit bigger. KLM flight 668 7879, arriving from Austin, Texas. 8.5 hours of flight time under its belt already on this flight. Eva, goedemorgen. Johan, goedemorgen. Al Ray checking in from Belfast. Good morning, mate. Welcome one and all. All other viewers who might have joined in the meantime, welcome to the show. First day of spring here on the northern hemisphere. And at least the beginning of the stream is starting out sunny. Calendar conform. How long it's going to stay that way, time will tell. Rain is upon us later this day. We're going to keep it dry here, at least until the A380 has landed, or at least that's the consensus, but how long we're actually going to enjoy the sunshine remains to be seen, as there's currently drifting in a lot of cloudy skies with only here and there a bit of blue. Nice one, Alan. Alan says, I wore my AMS live cap over there and now my girlfriend family are going to watch your streams. Excellent. The more the merrier. If you're already watching, welcome to the show. Hope you like it. The Coots over here are back. And if you listen closely, birds chirping as well. This is the 7879 Dreamliner returning from Austin, Texas. Now if you paid close attention just now, you could see that there is also a truck and a vehicle guiding it coming here this way. We'll be photobombing from left to right in a few moments. There you go. Martin from Norwich, Mr. Howells, good morning. Looks like a lovely day there. Well, it was until just now. Looking to the east you can see, and looking more to the northeast it still looks open. However, looking to the south and in the direction of the wind, the southwest, more cloudiness, and you can see there are little bits of openings over there in between, but not much. Prelude to the rain that is expected in the afternoon. Next up is going to be Turkish Airlines flight 1951, an Airbus A330-300 returning from Istanbul. And it seems to have had tailwind underway because the flight time is only a mere 2 hours and 47 minutes at this point in time. Normally speaking, it would have been around 3 hours, so definitely a bit of headwind. Or it has taken a shortcut, but ordinarily they already fly the most, typically very economically. This airplane is 9 years old. First flight was in December 2014. Right, that was a little bit of runway cleaning going on there. And we're even going to get a butt shot to boot. This butt shot was made possible by Turkish Airlines. Hey Sarah, Mrs. Professor, John, good morning, me myself. Well, it's quickly getting more cloudy here. As you guys can see, the wind is drifting in the clouds quite rapidly. Now also looking to the east, no longer as blue as it was before. Now they do expect better weather with more sunshine in the week after the upcoming weekend. Then again, that is also still far away and a lot of things can happen in the meantime. They are speaking of a longer period with dry or less rainy weather. Seeing is believing, but it does sound nice. Hopefully it will come out, will come true. Hey, Mr. Master! Rick is intending on starting an airline flying Fokker 100s. He has the manual to maintain it. Now all he needs is an airplane. So he reached out to me, said, boy, do you happen to have a Fokker 100 laying around? I said, no mate, but let me have a look on the internet for you, see what I can do. Did have a look, no luck yet. After I'm done streaming today, I will continue my search for you, Rick, so be patient, work in progress. Our next airplane coming in with some cables by the looks of it. It's flying through the clouds a little bit. Emirates Sky Cargo Flight 9920 arriving from Aguadilla. 777 freighter, 8 hours and 2 minutes of flight time. 11 years old, first flight September 2012. And good morning to everybody. Martin, Meilov, Rich. With the exception of the coughing and the voice doing perfectly fine. Very persistent. Now, are there also some birds in the water over there? I think there are. Donald and Daisy. Is that the third? Oh, that's another Coot. Okay. Right, looks like there might be a little gap in between this airplane and the next airplane that has just turned onto the glide slope further up to the north, Air Canada Flight 808, which hopefully will give me a few moments to brief you guys. 5 747s expected before the A380. The A380, last time I checked, expected just before 1 o'clock, 10 minutes to 1 I believe it was, back when I checked. Come on, use those reversers. What happens to the saying, if you've got it, flaunt it? That is not flaunting your reverser. Right, somewhere up north, and I'm afraid it looks like our glide slope shot window of opportunity has also closed. Air Canada Flight 808, not yet visible, so let's have a quick look at what is happening and coming. So, start off with the weather. This is the latest METAR. You can see wind is blowing from the south. In fact, on ground level a little bit from the southeast. The clouds actually are coming in more from the southwest. Just over 10 knots of wind, 11 knots for Beaufort. We have few clouds at 2,300 feet. I think that's going to change in later METARs, going to be a bit more substantial. We have 7 degrees Celsius as temperature, visibility of 10 kilometers or more. 7 degrees Celsius is approximately 44 degrees Fahrenheit. No significant changes expected in the upcoming 2 hours. We are standing over here, currently the only runway used for arrivals. Parallel north-south runway usage, and this is what we are waiting for. The last airplane of the day most likely is going to be the Emirates A380, expected still 10 to 1. You can find the time in the bottom left corner of your screen. Already in Dutch airspace is Saudia Flight 933, 747-400. We have inbound traffic from the west, from Miami. Atlas Air with the livery still from, I think that was DHL or something. Another airplane of interest that might interest you is the Transavia A321neo, back on its way to the Netherlands. Cargolux arriving around 11:30. Cathay Pacific Cargo 747-8 expected 15 minutes later. Around 12 o'clock we have Silkway West arriving, so that is 5 747s in total coming this way, and the A380 to boot, all before 1 o'clock local time. It's going to stay dry until then. That's the consensus of all the weather apps I have looked at, so we should be good, although I'm not sure about how much more sun we are going to see. This is Air Canada Flight 808 arriving from Toronto, touching down after 6.5 hours, well, 6 hours and 39 minutes. what you saw was a Kestrel. The helicopter predator bird that can hover perfectly still. Hands are off the camera. Well, let me zoom in a little bit while it's hovering. Clouds drifting by in the background. This animal is now hovering perfectly still. My hands are off the camera. Hunting for mice. Not sure how much additional digital zoom will do. No, the lighting is unfortunate. Not a lot of light and backlight as well. So let's focus in on what is coming next. This is EasyJet flight 22921 arriving from Bristol. It is an A320. Has been underway for 56 minutes. 11 years old. First flight June 2012. And already gone is the sun over here. The stream started out so promising. Such a shame. Rick asks, let me ask you, do you have the Europa Pass song in your head the whole time as well? Well, to tell you the truth, mate, I listened to it yesterday and I actually like the song. I think it is, as a child of the 80s growing up, as a teenager in the 90s growing up with happy hardcore and stuff like that, it really strikes a chord with me. So I actually like the song, and I think it actually stands a very good chance of winning, if you ask me. All those wimpy tear jerkers that we've sent before, I think this is going to stir things up. I think it has potential. So yeah, well, it's not constantly in my head, but I do like it. Better than I had expected than I expected before. This is Delta Airlines flight 136 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. A330-300. Joanna already did her tax report. Well, I already sent the papers to my bookkeeper when all the annual reports were in, so they're dealing with it. That's off my plate. So it has already been off my plate for a couple of weeks now. Right. Next up, Air Arabia Maroc, returning from Nador in Morocco. Flight 121, I think it is. It says 30121. So I'm assuming it's flight 121. A320, 2 hours and 45 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 10 years old. The first flight was in December 2013. Good morning to all people who have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. This is runway 18 right. The Polderbaan once again being used for arrivals with wind blowing from the south. Last time I checked it was 11 knots or roughly 4, mostly headwind. At the moment this runway is the only one being used for arrivals. I do expect this later to change in the morning with the center runway being used as well. It's going to stay dry for the next couple of hours. We started the day off with blue skies, however, in the meantime, clouds are drifting in from the southwest. Although there are a couple of openings, as you guys can see, it's not fully closing in just yet, but it is definitely getting more cloudy than it was before. Does make for some nice lighting. Although I would have preferred blue skies and particularly more open views to the north. I think our glide slope shots are no longer visible, just one airplane at a time, unfortunately. That one airplane that is coming in next is Croatia Airlines in the Star Alliance livery, returning from Zagreb. It's an A320. On this particular flight it has been flying for 1 hour and 33 minutes, and the airplane has been flying in total now for 20 years. Began flying for the first time in February 2004. Also going to invite the elephant into the room for a moment. And we're back. As Rick can attest, whenever outside temperatures are below room temperatures, some people have runny noses constantly and sound very clogged because of it. He and I are two of those people, unfortunately. Geekaboo informing us that the first of 5 747s is expected in around 10 minutes. Thank you for the update. We did already see during the briefing that it was in Dutch airspace already. Gradually coming closer by and closer by. Absolutely right, Rick. Outsource the hell out of those tax papers. Have the experts take care of it. Right. Still decent visibility to the north, and another Delta A330 coming in. Delta Airlines Flight 142 is up next, arriving from Seattle, Washington, where this airplane departed from 8 hours and 36 minutes ago. The airplane has been flying now for 17 years, began for the first time flying in October 2006. Good morning to Sharda and to Guy and to all other viewers who have joined in the meantime. So if you just tuned in, we're awaiting no less than 5 747s today, before all arriving before the A380 does. The A380 expected around 10 minutes to 1 local time, which you can find in the bottom left corner of your screen. And the first of the 5 747s is already in Dutch airspace and will be arriving pretty soon. If you need to go to the bathroom, you still have a few more minutes. If you want to make a fresh cup of coffee, grab another cup of tea, do so now. Nice. Me gusta. Martijn, he is informing us that from 11 o'clock the cloudiness should reduce again and it should be completely blue sky, clear skies from 1 o'clock onwards. Well, it's still open here and there, so it's not fully overcast luckily, and the sun is still peeping out in between the clouds every now and then still. So first day of spring, not a total loss just yet. Also a very big thank you to Ronald for your continued support. 7 months down, a lot more to come, he writes. 7 months of membership. Thank you so much for your continued support there, Ronald. I hope you still like it in the lounge. If something isn't to your liking, do let me know and let me see if I can fix it then. Also, a very big thank you to Sharda for your super sticker, a hamburger. Actually, I was thinking about making hamburgers myself again the other day. Vegetarian hamburgers, of course, but still, I think all I need to source is the lettuce. I think I've got all the other ingredients in the house already. So thank you so much for that, Sharda. Ooh, Arabic butt shot in the making. Now, talking about snacks, we've got a couple of narrow bodies coming in next. The next airplane to come in arrives from Paris Charles de Gaulle, KLM flight 1224, 737-800, flight time 41 minutes, a 12-year-old airplane. Now, Mr. Master, thank you so much for your continued support, not only as a member but also as a moderator. He says almost 12 months, what will be in the goodie bag? I think a green label. You will be one of the first people to experience that firsthand. Thank you so much for your continued support, Rick, and everything you've been doing to support the channel over the last year. And for you two guys, if there is something not to your liking, do let me know. And let me see if I can fix it then. Right, more butt shots, and up next Tarom flight 361 arriving from Bucharest. The daily flight today flown on a 737-800, flight time 2 hours 20 minutes. The airplane is 10 years old. The first flight was in October 2013. Hey, lieve goedemorgen kerel. Alles lekker? Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Maria, thank you so much. 5 months of membership, and she writes, time flies. Happy to be part of the AMS family. Well, I'm happy to have you as a family member, as a regular viewer. Thank you so much for your continued support as a member, and if not as a member, then I hope you are going to stay around for many more months to come as a frequent visitor. Will the Tarom use the reversers? Nope. We do get a little butt shot. And where is Michael Jackson when you need him? He's always complaining that he doesn't see enough CRJs in the stream. And now we have one coming in next, and he's not here to witness it. The next airplane is Lufthansa flight 2302, arriving from Munich, from the south of Bavaria. Flight time 1 hour and 4 minutes. A 14-year-old airplane, first flight October 2009. Meanwhile, the sun is starting to shine a little bit again over here. Also, where the airplane is flying now, lovely being illuminated by the sun. Footage does look a little bit shaky. Well, that was just, the last shake was from my coat getting stuck behind one of the tripod legs, but I'm wondering if it is too windy or if it is windy enough to warrant image stabilizer. So I mean, under certain angles versus the wind, little CRJ butt shot. Now Rich says, can't thank you enough for helping me take my mind off the fact I recently got diagnosed with cancer. Your streams helped me cope and forget for a while. Feel free to post this on screen. Well, here we go. Happy to oblige and be able to take your mind off a terrible diagnosis. I hope. I mean, it's a spectrum. Getting cancer can be fatal in just weeks. It can also be manageable and curable still. I hope you are on the latter spectrum, the end of the spectrum. All the best with the upcoming treatment and therapies there, Rich. Right, let's quickly turn back. The first queen of the day, the first of 5 by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So if you just tuned in, we've got 4 more coming before the A380, which is also expected all before 1 o'clock local time. This is Air Atlanta Europe flying for Saudia. Well, it says Air Atlanta Europe on flight radar. The picture is Saudia cargo actually, so I'm wondering what it is going to be. Saudia flight 933 747-400, 5.5 hours of flight time between Jeddah and Amsterdam thus far. The airplane is 27 years old, first flight November 1996, and it is particularly in this angle that I see that the footage is a little bit shaky. There we go, quickly enabled image stabilizer, hopefully. Or is that just... well, let's see. And primarily, let's look and listen. Hopefully she's heavy and the reversers will be used. Nah. That was Captain Letdown. Nice landing, not very loud though. In that respect, a little bit disappointing. Now, if you do like watching Queens land, Be sure to like the stream if you haven't done so already. If you want to stay informed of upcoming live streams, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. You're doing it for yourselves, not so much for me. Just a handy way of getting informed when I'm going live again. Beautiful lighting over here as the Saudia cargo vacates from the runway. And let me also say a big thank you to John, who just now gifted 5 memberships. John, thank you so much for that. If you are one of the recipients, don't forget to say thanks to John. And if you are one of the 5 new members of the Aurora Sky Lounge, welcome. Be sure to use the custom emojis that are now at your disposal whenever you see fit. Now, it is an Embraer KLM City Hopper. It has big ass engines and no winglets, so this is an E2 Embraer 195. Easy to discern. It is KLM flight 1954 returning from Zurich. Let's have a look at those see-through engines. This lighting is perfect for it. Another Embraer coming in next, but a different one, an Embraer 175. How to spot an Embraer 175? Look at the winglets, relatively tall, relatively outward facing. It is KLM flight 1352, returning from the Czech Republic, from Prague. After having flown 1 hour and 9 minutes to get here from the Czech Republic. 6 years old, first flight October 2017. Hey Gerrit, goedemorgen. Good to see you, mate. Indeed, a quiet landing of the first Queen. But we got 4 more chances of loud Queens. And of course the A380. If these are all going to land on this runway remains to be seen. Probably not, because at some point the center runway is likely going to open up when inbound rush hour begins later in the morning. All traffic arriving from the east then typically goes to the center runway to land, so we're probably going to see a couple land from a distance. And Morgan, Alex tuning in from Vienna. Doing well, thank you for asking. Tom, goedemorgen. Wendy, goedemorgen. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, good morning. Let's quickly turn back. .7879 Dreamliner arriving from New York JFK. KLM flight 644. You're absolutely right, Mrs. Professor. Somebody should clue those pilots in that reverser use is very much appreciated over here. Now, in the meantime, it is opening up once again in all directions, southeast, southwest. Looks a bit better. Also reflects to better glide slope shots upcoming. Let's see, one airplane at the moment still visible. There's a second one behind it. Let me crouch behind the laptop. Can we see it on a little bit bigger screen? Doesn't look like it. Matter of time. It's going. Won't be much longer probably. This is SAS flight 821 returning from Oslo. A320, flight time 1 hour 32 minutes. The airplane 16 years old. The first flight August 2007. Right, now the second airplane has become visible. In the far left top third of the screen visible now. That's an A320neo from EasyJet returning from London Stansted. But first, this regular A320 arriving from Oslo and from SAS. Good morning to Paul, good morning to Halil. All other viewers who might have joined in the meantime, good morning to you too. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy, we're standing at the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Currently still the only runway being used for arrivals. Reasonably sunny weather, wind blowing from the south. And we have a 2 airplane glide slope shot at the moment and an airplane flying overhead outbound to the north. Also, long time that we were able to see those airplanes in the SkyTeam livery. KLM, or is that another airplane, another carrier? Hard to see. I think KLM. And here is the A320neo. Now, the sky is much more open in the meantime. Has become much more open, I should say. Looking around for glide slope, for contrails. Not seeing any just yet. Does look like another airplane outbound to the north is coming my way. Where is it? There it is. That is Air Baltic in its standard lime livery. More A320neos, this one also from SAS and arriving from Stockholm. And yes, Rick, I was indeed flying to Innsbruck and back on an 800. Absolutely right. JD, good morning, good to see you. Norbert, good morning. Dominic, good morning. All other viewers who joined in the meantime, good morning. Tiger has to go. See you later. Thank you for joining. Well, A320, A320, A320. However, in the top left third of your screen, the next airplane visible is a 737-700 from KLM arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. And behind it looks like a KLM A330. Little butt shot in the making, courtesy of EasyJet. And good morning, Jimmy Pirate, and good morning to Danny. Next up, a KLM 737-700. Flight 1228, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, where this airplane left from 45 minutes ago. 12-year-old airplane, first flight May 2011. Can we see? Yeah, we can see the A330 behind it already, vaguely. Hoping that as the clouds move further to the north, light slope visibility will improve even further. We've yet to see A3 airplane glide slope shot today. Now, speaking about stuff that we still have to see or haven't seen yet, the firefighters, I think, still have to do their round, or they were exceedingly early today. Alrighty. A330 time. This is KLM flight 696, arriving from Toronto, Canada. Flight time 6 hours and 56 minutes. The airplane is 18 years old. The first flight was in July 2005. It's an Airbus A330-200. The PHAOB. Hard to see anything in the background behind it. There should be an Embraer 190 from KLM, returning from Porto, Portugal. Alrighty. Again, more clouds coming in right now. Sun also vanishing behind those clouds over here. Next up is going to be KLM flight 1710 and Embraer 190 returning from Porto in Portugal, where this airplane departed from 2 hours and 9 minutes ago. The airplane is 14 years old. The first flight was in January 2010. It is particularly in this angle that the camera starts vibrating a little bit with the wind from behind. Now, big thank you to Made in Australia for 7 months of membership already. Yeehaw, 7 months. Made in Australia rides. Thank you so much for your continued support, my man. Hope you still like it in the lounge. If something is not to your liking, do let me know. But thank you so much for your continued support there, Made in Australia. Sharda has to go. Thank you so much for joining, Sharda. Enjoy the rest of your day and hopefully see you on the next one. Another 737 outbound to Oslo. Passing by over here. Yeah, outbound to Oslo. A319 outbound to Manchester. Inbound from Manchester. Up next after this airplane. Let's see, it is 10:40 now almost. Think that won't be too much longer before the center runway is also going to be used for arrivals instead of departures. Or is that 11:40? Huh. We'll see soon enough. Pretty sure that at some point we're going to see parallel arrivals later in the morning. Not yet though. We've got 4 more 747s expected and the A380 all before 1 o'clock local time. Local time you can see in the bottom left corner of your screen. Hey, 2 airplanes visible now on the glide slope. Is there a number 3 somewhere in the distance? That doesn't seem to be the case. Well, we'll have to make do with a 2 airplane glide slope shot then. In the foreground, an A319 EasyJet arriving from Manchester. In the background, a 777-300 arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. The A319 EasyJet flight 27854 departed from Manchester 49 minutes ago. Austrian registered. It's the OE-LQN. 15 years old, this airplane. First flight December 2008. Funny how within 10 minutes things over here can look so different. Now once again, clouds all over. However, the more bluish skies that we had a couple of minutes ago now has drifted more to the north, so the glide slope is better visible right now. The silver lining. Morgen Joke. Hello there, Marvin. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, good morning. KLM flight 598, 777-300 arriving from Cape Town, touching down after 10 hours and nearly 15 minutes of flight time. Now this particular airplane, 10 years old, first flight May 2013. Another 2 airplane glide slope shots. In the foreground we have ITA Airways Flight 108, it's an A320neo. Behind it is a Pegasus A321neo arriving from Istanbul. First up is this beautiful Azzurro A320neo from ITA, Flight 108 arriving from Rome. This airplane departed from Rome 1 hour and 52 minutes ago. Brand new airplane, less than a year old, began flying for the first time in August last year. Still a bit annoying, the vibration. Don't like image stabilizer because it becomes very floaty and overshoots and undershoots in all directions, but then again, if it makes the vibrations a little bit less when looking at the airplane when it's still on the glide slope, maybe worth it. Got it re-enabled, image stabilizer right now. There's an Italian butt shot in the making. Here we go. Grazie ITA Airways for making possible this beautiful butt shot. Also very squeaky brakes. And grazie also to Sharda for once again another super sticker, a thumbs up hand gesture with the word stop. Thank you so much for that, Sharda. Very much appreciated. Did not see, or I should maybe say hear, that squeaky brake coming. That was definitely something. Right, next up, Pegasus or Flypigs, Flight 1251 A321neo, coming to Amsterdam from Istanbul. Not as fast as other airplanes before it, arriving from Istanbul today. Still a little bit less than 3 hours of flight time. The airplanes do seem to be having tailwind today. Oink oink, the pig has landed. Flypigs.com, as many see into it instead of Pegasus. Now, unfortunately, with the sun not being out, those see-through engines are harder to see through, as you guys can see, if you're still following. Big picture-wise, it does look much more cloudy right now. It doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. Relatively quiet over here, but I do believe that the police are now... Is that the regular police or is that the military police? I think the regular police. Was that a Seat? We'll see soon enough. Anyway, this is KLM flight 1926 arriving from Geneva, 737-800. Flight time 1 hour and 9 minutes. 23-year-old airplane. Started flying in the beginning of the millennium in April of the year 2000. low-key wheelie. And welcome to Joker, Debbie, Alan, Kelly, Joker. And it is in fact the military police. Koninklijke Marechaussee, as it's called in Dutch. And they are apparently driving and patrolling in a Seat. Didn't know that. A more sturdy vehicle is coming this way. Bird control, Ford Ranger Raptor. Next up, KLM flight 986, Embraer 190, returning from London City. Flight time 41 minutes, 15-year-old airplane. First flight October 2008. And Teun, thank you so much for your super chat, my man. Thank you so much, very much appreciated. No accompanying text with the super chat, but thank you so much, Teun. That is very generous of you. Now, are we going to see a match? Who will pass by me the quickest? Place your bets. Who's going to win? We have seen those Raptor Rangers fly by almost, very fast. No speed cameras over here. Speeding apparently is allowed. Who says that? Who said that airplanes were the fastest mode of transportation? It does look like K3 is faster. Bird controller is focused on looking ahead. Did not see me wave. Did not reciprocate. It's the Fezza, not the Fez, but the Fezza. Rick says Delta A350 coming in soon. That is very good news. That would be the first A350 of the day as well. Now, before that, playtime, ladies and gentlemen. So all the members, get out your custom emojis. Make sure you also have the butt shot emoji nearby, because you might need to use it. Our next airplane returning from Iceland to Amsterdam. The Daily Play airplane. Well, is it daily? I'm saying daily, but as I said it, I was immediately starting to wonder, is it a daily flight? Because I do recall that there are also streams where we don't get to see it. Anyway, I'm digressing. A320neo. Flight time 2 hours and 47 minutes. Well, you can all see where this is going. Playtime butt shot. If you're a first time viewer of the channel, you might be thinking, what the F is going on here? Butt shots, playtime. Welcome to the Netherlands, where this is common. Jackie calls IT department, the screen turns red. Now, also a very warm thank you to Michael for your super chat. Thank you so much for that, Michael. Again, a super chat with no accompanying text, but thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Cor is tuning in from Utrecht in the center of the Netherlands. Good to see you. Hope all is well. And Everybody just tuning in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. Arrivals on runway 18 right, the Polderbaan. We already saw one 747 land. It was not very loud. There are 4 more inbound, all before 1 p.m. local time. The time you can see in the bottom left corner of your screen. With the last airplane of the day expectedly to be the Emirates A388, which was expected around 10 to 1. This is KLM flight 636, returning from Las Vegas. It is a 7879 Dreamliner that has flown 9 hours and 25 minutes to get here. The airplane in total has been flying now for 7 years, since August 2016. Let's do a quick rundown of the current status quo. We have a few seconds before the next airplane arrives, so let's do a refresh of the METAR. First of all, the wind is still blowing from the south, mostly has increased a little bit to nearly 15 knots, still 4 above 4. The clouds, few clouds at 800 feet, scattered clouds at 1300 feet. Visibility is 10 kilometers or more. The temperature is 7 degrees Celsius, that is 44 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly speaking. Runway usage has officially changed to parallel arrivals center now. The secondary runway for arrivals, it's the secondary runway for departures and arrivals intermittently, with runway 064, the Cargolux being closed for major maintenance until the second half of April at least. This is what it currently looks like in terms of planes of interest. We have a 7478 arriving from Miami, flying over the east, flying over Wales or the west of England by the looks of it. Transavia A321neo almost entering Dutch airspace. Cargolux arriving from Nairobi. Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478 arriving from Dubai, both in German airspace. Silkway West also arriving, and dessert for today, the A380. Now a little bit of time gained and expected 1:45 approximately. Next airplane to arrive, EasyJet A320neo, returning from Birmingham. Also the first airplane to center. In the background, I was looking to see if I could spot an airplane that I saw on flight radar. There is a goose flying overhead and more birds. Oh yeah, well, only vaguely. 777 off to Guangzhou, which you can hear but no longer see because clouds are in the way. Next up is going to be an EasyJet A319 arriving from Edinburgh. Flight 27836. Flight time 1 hour 7 minutes. The airplane is 16 years old. The first flight February 2008. Let me also quickly update the ticker with the runway usage and the meter that I just copy pasted. Did not have enough time to do that just now. So yeah, if you don't have to be anywhere, stick around. We've got 4 747s expected and the A380 all before 1 o'clock. It is going to stay dry until then. Alrighty. Now, the A350 from Delta that Rick was referring to earlier is going to be the next airplane after this one. I was already having a look to see if I could spot it, but alas, the clouds are in the way. I was hoping for a bit better glide slope shot visibility. And despite having image stabilizer activated, the footage is still a little bit shaky. Stupid wind. Ooh, Sally. Or was that Steven? Meanwhile, Transavia flying in. Going to the center runway. Right, well, I'm going to turn back to the north because our next airplane has become visible. It is the Delta A350 Flight 74 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, where this airplane departed from 7 hours and 44 minutes ago. The airplane has been flying now for 7 years already, began in March 2016. Also a very big thank you to Optimus Toaster, I love the name, for just becoming a member. Thank you so much for your support. Hope you like it in the lounge. If you don't like it, do let me know. See what I can do to fix it. The tractor that has unloaded the logs, the lumber, just passed me by back to the north over the cycling path left of me. Reversers. As you guys can hear, I'm still suffering a little bit from a hoarse voice and some dry cough after a cold infection 2 weeks ago already. Very persistent. Makes me sound more ill than I actually am. I'm feeling perfectly fine otherwise, but it does sound like I'm a bit under the weather. Doesn't also help that I'm susceptible to getting a runny nose whenever the outside temperature is below room temperature, so hope you guys can still put up with it. Now, talking about noisy buggers, other than me, next up is AeroMexico Flight 25. Nicely lit, well, momentarily by the sun. That still pokes through the clouds now and then. Returning from Mexico City, 9 hours and 52 minutes. Has the potential to get loud. Let's look and listen. bad, not too bad. Are we also going to get a butt shot? I think so. Courtesy of AeroMexico. Muchas gracias por este butt shot. Now, in the water we did see coots on the south side earlier. Don't see them anymore. Don't see any birds in the water anywhere right now. We saw Donald and Daisy duck. Oh! Russell. No, not Russell. Well, it is the quiet one. It's probably Sally. Sally the seagull. Or is that Steven Seagull? No, she's quiet. Yum yum yum. Oh. Are you going to make a ruckus now? Let's see, that is Aegean in the meantime. Maybe it is Steven Seagull after all. Alrighty. The next airplane to arrive is Air France up with the exclamation mark. Embraer 170 flying under the moniker of Air France flight 1794 from Lyon to Amsterdam. Flight time 1 hour and 10 minutes. 14 ans. 14 years old. First flight was in June 2009. Up and away. One world, one nation. Let's see, what is this? Why am I not seeing it on flight radar? That's odd. I do see the all-white airplane arriving from Erbil, but this is a different one and it doesn't show on my flight radar for some reason. Does look like Saudia. No, wait, that is Qatar, right? And BH Air arriving from Erbil to center up next. Also an airplane you don't see flying very often. Coming in from Iraq. In the meantime, Transavia 737-700. Then that must be the BH Air. Where is it? There it is. No? Huh? What is going on here? Got a few hiccups on flight radar. On my flight radar, it's well, there is also the 737. But the spacing between it and the what is that? BHR behind it seems to be very narrow, very tight. Interesting. Right, Transavia. This used to be the standard livery before the current standard livery was introduced, with the rainbow colors on the front. It's a rental, has been rented out to KLM, flying for KLM, returning from Copenhagen as KLM flight 1126. Right, in the meantime, Embraer 175 arriving from Norwich, landing over here at Polderbaan. Dime in a dozen. But it is a dime in a dozen giving us a butt shot. Have a look at the winglets, outward facing, relatively tall. Nice lighting, by the way. Easy way to discern the Embraer 175 from the Embraer 190. Now, there was an airplane on flight radar that I now no longer see. Very strange things. BHR arriving from Erbil, all white airplane. What I'm now seeing is an Embraer 190 arriving from Stuttgart going to center, so at least on my phone, flight radar was having a few hiccups just now. Next up, Iberia Express, flight 3722 A320, returning from Madrid, touching down after nearly 2 hours of flight. Howdy coach, goedemorgen. Indeed, another windy day over here. Captain Eddie Boys and Andean, good morning. Mr. Cole, good morning. Goosey, good morning, good to see you again. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, good morning to you too. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. Currently parallel arrivals in progress. We're standing next to Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Runway 18 center also being used. We already saw the landing of 1747. 4 more are coming. 2 of which are 747-8s. Let's have a quick look. If you just joined us and you're hearing the wind, it is indeed windy. The wind is increasing by the meter. New meter, 1 knot more wind. We had 14 knots just now, 15 knots at the moment. Runway usage, nothing to write home about, but look at this. This is nice. Airplanes of interest, Transavia A321neo, most likely going to land on the center runway because of parallel arrivals. From the west, flying near Colchester, northeast of London. 7478 arriving from Miami, expected in half an hour from now. Now, I'm also afraid that this airplane might land on the center runway. 747-400 arriving from Nairobi, Cargolux, almost entering Dutch airspace. More central, flying in Germany, a 7478 arriving from Dubai. A bit further to the southwest, we have a Silkway West 747-400 arriving from Baku and northeast of Bucharest, expected around 12:40. We have the Emirates A388. So if you don't have to be anywhere, stick around, sit back and relax, enjoy the landings over here at Schiphol Airport. Big picture wise, a bit off and on with clouds. We started the stream with open skies and blue skies mostly. Now it's getting more windy, it's getting more cloudy. Then again, looking more in the direction of the wind, it is looking like it's opening up again. Looking to the southwest, although the wind is coming more or less from the south, a little bit east of the south. So this is in fact the direction the wind is coming from right now on ground level. Oh, you thought you could get away with laying down, right? We see everything over here. Now, not sure which one is Sally and which one is Steven. They're both here, as is the next airplane. Now let me have a look. This is an A319 EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick, and the sun nicely in time coming out. Next up, a flying AMS Live logo, and I'm also going to reintroduce the elephant into the room. KLM flight 749, arriving from Cartagena, 787-10 Dreamliner. Has been flying for 9 hours and 31 minutes now. Brand new airplane, will be turning 1 in May this year. JetBlue is landing on center. That's interesting because normally speaking, traffic from the west would normally land on the westernmost of the parallel runways. So I'm thinking they're going to do an inspection of the Polderbaan runway 18 right before closing the center runway and reopening it for departures. So that's a good sign. If they do the inspection quickly enough, we might see the bulk of the 747s actually land right before our very eyes. So that is good news, in fact. Means that we will have to make do with traffic going to center for the time being. Oh, does look like there is an Embraer 190 arriving from Bristol that is still coming to Polderbaan, which is interesting. What then is going on in terms of inspections? Is there something going on? I now wonder. K3 is driving along the runway and not on the runway. Nothing seems to be in progress. Then again, there's also a van over there, which I believe is that one of the no, that's just a regular 52. But the now number 24 center is also arriving from the west, arriving from Panama City. So they have redirected a couple of airplanes that normally would have landed on Polderbaan to the center runway. Which I'm a bit surprised by if they aren't going to initiate a runway inspection anytime soon. And I'm also wondering why then the Bristol Embraer 190 is still coming to Polderbaan. At least that's what it looks like on flight radar. So if you just joined us, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're currently standing at a runway where not a lot of traffic is going to, but soon will resume. The Polderbaan, runway 18 right, wind blowing from the south. And landings take place to the south from the north. The runway we are standing next to, I think they're going to do an inspection pretty soon. Parallel arrivals in progress. Has been for a while now. So I'm thinking once the runway we are standing next to has been inspected, they are going to close down the runway that this Dreamliner is now still flying towards. For those of you who didn't know, runway 0624 Cargolux has been closed now for I think 2 weeks already, and is expected to stay closed until the second half of April. Major maintenance, periodic maintenance, which means different runway usage than normally would have been the case with the prevailing winds. All 3 north-south runways today have been in progress and have been that almost exclusively since the runway I mentioned earlier was closed down for maintenance. Only when the wind is excessively from the north, from the east or from the west, will they also resort to using runway 0927. This is KLM flight 758 returning from Panama City. A388-710 Dreamliner. Now traffic to Polderbaan is resuming again. And an Embraer 190 from German Airways is the next airplane to arrive. One of the rentals flying for KLM is KLM flight 1050. This one returning from Bristol. Flight time 54 minutes. It's an Embraer 190 long range. 18 years old. First flight January 2006. Evelyn says that the Cargolux 747 is going to 18C. That was to be expected. Means that 18C is going to stay open for arrivals at least for, what is it, 10-15 or so more minutes. Optimus Toaster asks, does the 787-10 only have 2 axles on its rear landing gear legs? Good question. I think it does, but missed the opportunity to zoom in from the side as one just now passed us by. Let's have a closer look and inspect the next 787-10. I only think that the A350-1000 has 3 axles on the rear main landing gear. More butt shots, more Embraers, but also a KLM A330. Can we see the A330 already, is the question. How's the glide slope visibility? The answer is at the moment abysmal. Just one. No, wait, I do see. Yeah, no, spoke too soon. Take that back. 2 airplanes visible. Alan is saying catch you later. Thank you for joining, Alan. Catch you later. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate. It is typical that Jerry isn't around when we have glide slope shots and pops up in the chat when there's not much to see in terms of glide slope shots. His timing he needs to work on. But there you go, 2 airplanes. The first one, an Embraer 190, arriving from London City in the SkyTeam livery, no less. KLM flight 984, flight time 42 minutes. That's par for the course, 40 to 45 minutes between London and Amsterdam. The airplane is 11 years old. The PHEZX. Definitely windy. But it is headwind mostly for the airplane's landing, so not much crabbing going on. Also no go-arounds expected. Our next airplane is arriving from Bonaire, the B of the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, laying just off the coast of Venezuela in the Caribbean Sea. This A330-300 has been flying for nearly 9 hours to get back from Bonaire to Amsterdam, 8 hours and 54 minutes to be precise. It's the PH aka the KLM 765. The airplane is 12 years old. The first flight February 2012. It's the fucker. What's up, my fucker? PH aka. But where is your motherfucker? Anyway, that's just me temporarily regressing to my puberty period. Got our friendly neighborhood, the police also here patrolling. Seems that a couple of young cyclists are blocking their way. And there's the sun returning here. We've got KLM flight 1002 coming in from London Heathrow, 737-800, flight time 44 minutes. The airplane 9 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in March 2014. Optimus Toaster says I'm a bit of a fucker as I hadn't liked the stream. Well, shame on you then, mate. But you can make amends by still liking and subbing if you haven't done so already. You probably must have done that by now, because the weather gods seem to be favorable to us all of a sudden, with the sun coming out from behind the clouds. Now more 747s coming in for KLM rental from Transavia. In the meantime, parallel arrival still very much in progress. And this is with image stabilizer enabled. Still a bit shaky. Wind's now blowing perpendicularly to a big surface of my camera and my mic, making the footage a bit shaky. Hopefully wind will temporarily calm down once the 747 is coming in. Now, speaking of which, okay, approaching mainland North Holland. The second 747 of the show arriving from Nairobi. Parallel arrival still very much in progress. The next airplane to land on Polderbaan, and what you're now seeing is a Transavia livery rental to KLM and flying as KLM flight 1422 from Birmingham to Amsterdam. 47 minutes of flight. The airplane is 21 years old. The first flight was in June 2002. Now, big picture wise, currently in my immediate vicinity lots of blue sky, though looking a bit further out, this is looking further to the east, you can still see many clouds I should say. Looking to the south, more or less the same picture, although this is where the wind is blowing from and it does look a bit better now with respect to what's coming our way. Christian de Coot also still here. Chris for Intimi. Southwest, west. More clouds. But it does look like things are opening up a little bit. That's good news. Next up, KLM Flight 916 arriving from Southampton. It's an Embraer 175, has been flying now for 49 minutes to get back to Amsterdam from Southampton. This airplane has been flying now for 7 years, began in January 2017. Embraer Fest galore now. It is Embraer 175s coming in to both Polderbaan and Center, back to back. Embraer 175 arriving from Stavanger up next for us. Oh, was also trying to scroll a bit to the north on Flight Radar on my phone. I think 3 consecutive Embraer 175s, including this one. Meanwhile, further north, I see on Flight Radar that the 747 from Cargolux arriving from Nairobi is turning onto the glide slope of the center runway. Hey Vinny, good morning man, good to see you again, hope all is well. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, welcome to you as well. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy, we're standing along the Polderbaan runway 18 right. It's a bit windy, wind is blowing from the south. Parallel arrivals in progress. Center runway also open for arrivals. We already saw one Boeing 747 and the second one is now on the glide slope of the center runway, making its way over here. Soon to be visible, not yet though. Of 5 second of 5 in total before the A380 from Emirates is expected. The Emirates A380 expected in an hour and 15 minutes from now. Next up is KLM flight 1198 arriving from Stavanger. It is an Embraer 175. Also taking this moment to do a quick battery swap. Was starting to get a cold hand. Now you can definitely tell that the wind is picking up, even though it is mostly headwind. Particularly these smaller planes have to work a little bit to control the airplane, being more susceptible to the wind. Hey, that sounds good, Lieve. Coffee. Black, please. Chris and Colin Coot over here. Interesting to see the way he propels himself, or she herself, with the hind legs. Now, let's see. One more Embraer 175 coming to Polderbaan, arriving from Aberdeen, and then a Max 8 from Iceland Air arriving from Reykjavik, which I'm not sure if we can see. Yeah, just about. The lights are on. Parallel to that, to runway center, is the Cargolux B744 arriving from Nairobi. Obviously, that is what we are going to focus on once it gets nearby. Trying to see if I can spot it visually somewhere already, but don't think I see it just yet. Wait, now I do. Oh, still had my camera on autofocus for the Coots. Got that resolved as well. There we go. Second queen of the show. This one going to center. Cargolux flight 2285 arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. This airplane now underway for 8 hours and 15 minutes. 22 years old, the first flight, August 2001. Now, not too far away, there is another 747 arriving from the west, so that is very likely going to land on this runway we are standing next to, Polderbaan. I'm also expecting at some point that the center runway is going to close again for arrivals and will become the secondary runway for departures once again, as was the case earlier. So how many more 747s after this one will be going to the center runway remains to be seen. I'm cautiously optimistic that this is going to be the only one, but time will tell. Right, time to disengage the telescope mode. Right. Now, definitely like the stream if you haven't done so already, but you are liking what you're seeing so far. We've got more underway, 3 more 747s and an Emirates A380. In the meantime, ducks have arrived on the scene over here. Donald and Daisy, I think. Chris and Curtis Coot. Meanwhile, on land, grazing in the grass. I did see a grebe the other day, by the way. They are around if you guys might be wondering. Except, you know how they are, camera shy. Whenever you point the camera towards them, they immediately dive under. They are very camera shy. But they are still here. Now, arriving from point of sale, no, piece of shit, no, Port of Spain, KLM flight 787, A330, 200, flight time 8 hours and 15 minutes. It's the Falk me, another A330. See it here, it's the Falk. Right, time to quickly turn back the camera to the north. Yet another 747, and this one is arriving on the right runway. Atlas Air flight 8209 7478, arriving from Miami, Florida. Livery that is still work in progress. Flight time 8 hours and 3 minutes. This 7478 is 11 years old already. First flight was in September 2012. Now, is she going to be heavy? Is she going to get loud? In a few moments we are going to hear it and know it. Right, hope you guys still have functional speakers and eardrums. And Eva and Niels back in time for the big birds. Good to see you both again. Perfect timing. Now, we have 2 more 747s underway. We have the Emirates A380 expected in an hour from now. And if you look on Flight Radar, you will see that the now number 2 is going to be another 747, the Silkway West. sandwiched in between we have a little appetizer, an Embraer 190 from German Airways flying for KLM. This one arriving from Glasgow flying as KLM flight 1472. Her Majesty the Queen is already visible. Oh, no, huh? Sorry. Huh? Silkway West. This is not the 747. This is a 777. Okay, cool. Silkway West visiting Amsterdam twice with a 777 and with a 747. Got me off guard. Apologies for the misunderstanding. Now, I'm also getting notified by PayPal of a donation by Evan. Thank you so much, Evan, for your PayPal donation. Very much appreciated, my friend. Now, we haven't seen Chucky yet. Wondering if we are going to see it again. Big chance, but I don't know for sure, did not check. Right, so what is good is that this airplane is arriving from Baku, and that means traffic from the east is once again going to Polderbaan. Means that the center runway more than likely is once again closed for arrivals, and this is once again the only runway being used for arrivals. Now, there is a 747 behind it, a 747-8, just about visible. Nice dual heavy glide slope shot with a triple and a 7.4. So, Silkway West Airlines flight 4211 arriving from Baku, where this airplane departed from 1 hour and 43 minutes ago. Brand new airplane. Began flying in September last year. So half a year old still. Nice to see a 777 freighter for a change from Silkway. Hey Paul, good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. And you did catch the 747 as well. Perfect timing then indeed. You did miss two that we saw earlier. One went to the center runway and the other one landed on Polderbaan. Although the first one and the one landing on Polderbaan was very quiet, so not much lost there. Now, Queen number 4, if I counted correctly, or is this the 5th one already? No, Silkway West still has to arrive. So, Queen 4 of 5, Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478, flight 2067 arriving from Dubai. Flight time 7 hours and 25 minutes. The A380 normally averages around 6.5 hours on this track. Nice combo shot. Heavy traffic also along the runway. Those mother effers are going to photobomb. Stupid mother effing. What a very unfortunate timing. Scania 747 combo shot there, ladies and gentlemen. Only here on AMS Live. Oh boy. And indeed the rudder doing overtime. That was maximally to the left just now before it vacated the runway. And another nice combo with the triple still in the background, also making its way over to... They're both going to the cargo area of the main platform area that is adjacent to runway 0624, the now closed runway. So these airplanes still have a significant taxi ahead of them. Things look a bit pixelated right now because I'm in the digital zoom range, just wanting to see the spoilers and flaps retract. Spoilers have gone down, but the flaps still need to go up. Well, even despite locking axis and image stabilizer enabled, it's still very shaky footage with such a long focal length. Wind is picking up, that's for sure. Airplane on E2 Embraer is getting closer. Let's have a quick look at the current status quo. The wind is actually picking up quite rapidly, or at least that's what it feels like. So let's have a look. Yeah, increasing to 16 knots now. We also have a ceiling now of 1600 feet. Below the ceiling, 10 plus kilometers of visibility. And the K&M Orange Pride, oh, that is outbound. Silkway West, we'll be seeing it in a few minutes. It is flying base, will turn final in a few moments, and then the last, presumably the last airplane of the day, the Emirates A380, expected in 45 minutes from now entering German airspace. Paste the updated weather in the ticker for you guys. And arrivals is once again just 18 right, making sure that the ticker is once again updated fully. Right, ready to rock. Next up, KLM flight 1740, Embraer 175. And the 747-400 from Silkway West is behind it already. Still a bit further to the north, not sure if we can see it already. It looks like another PayPal notification from another donation by Evan just now. Thank you so much, For a minute I thought I didn't swipe away the message, but that it is definitely another one. So thank you so much for that, Evan. Very much appreciated. Now, the last queen of today's show. There it is. With a little narrow body in between. KLM flight 1740 arriving from Luxembourg, Embraer 175. I'm going to forgo it. Just focus on the last of the 5 queens. This is Silkway West Airlines arriving from Baku. 747-400. Flight 205. 4 hours and 42 minutes underway. The airplane is 23 years old. First flight was in September 2000. And Hans says, sorry about the increasing wind speed. I ate chili yesterday. Well, that is too bad. Luckily the wind isn't very smelly, so I guess that's the silver lining. Coming our way now. Also a big thank you to Chavs, who celebrates 8 months of membership and writes another month on the tally. Thanks, boy. Well, thank you so much for your continued support, Chavs. Very much appreciated. I hope you still like it in the lounge, and if something isn't to your liking, do let me know. Let me see if I can fix it then. Welcome to AMS Live, everybody. If you just joined us, the 5th queen before the Emirates A380. She's coming. Only one landed on the center runway. All the others landed right here. And she has had her nose in snow by the looks of it. White tip. Let's look and listen. Well, also not very loud, but very majestic nonetheless. Don't forget to drop a like if you are liking what you're seeing. Happy New Year! That would be the culprit of the fireworks you heard just now. One of the bird control Raptor Ranger vehicles coming this way. Right, well, let me quickly turn back the camera because there's more heavies coming this way. Our next airplane is KLM flight 706. It is 777-200 ER arriving from Rio de Janeiro. Flight time to 10 hours and 45 minutes. The airplane is 16 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in April 2007. So we're still waiting for the Emirates A380 that is today expected around 1:45 local time. You will see the local time in the bottom left corner of your screen. Wind is picking up. We started off with moderate wind around 10-11 knots. In the meantime it has increased to around 16 knots, 4 or 5 above 4. Still from the south mostly, meaning headwind. Not much crabbing, no go-arounds to be expected. Rain is expected later in the day, but not before we're going to see the A380 land. In terms of cloudiness, it's been on and off over here this morning. We started off with mostly blue skies, then it became more cloudy, then it opened up a little bit, then it became cloudy again. Now once again more open skies are drifting in from the south. This is looking to the east. This is looking to the south. The wind is blowing from this direction on ground level, southwest and west of the sea. Mostly cloudy. And visualization of the wind in chimney smoke scale. I'm once again going to reintroduce the elephant into the room momentarily, as our next airplane is making its way over here, an E2 Embraer returning from Edinburgh, KLM flight 1278. And we're back. Cannot wait for warmer weather. Spring has begun in the northern hemisphere today, or at least the meteorological one. Astronomical one, still 3 weeks out. Big ass engines, no winglets, E2 Embraer 195, easily recognizable. That's the overshooting, undershooting that image stabilizer sometimes does. I was trying to zoom in to the cockpit and then the camera overcorrected, undercorrected, and I missed the cockpit windows altogether. And Evan, thank you so much. A third notification from PayPal of a donation by Evan. Very much appreciated, my friend. Thank you so much. Now, it's time to go to more Embraer 190s. No E2s, regular 190s. This one is KLM flight 988, arriving from London City. 38 minutes of flight time, 6-year-old airplane, first flight February 2018. I was looking to see if I could spot the next Embraer 190 behind it already. There it is. Turning onto the glide slope, short circuit, arrival from Brussels. With the gear out already. K3 is photobombing our arrivals a little bit. Hope that it won't stick around much longer. Little butt shots. And back to more Embraers. KLM flight 9955. Embraer 190 arriving from Brussels. A mere 26 minutes of flight time. A 14-year-old airplane. First flight began in 2010, February. Chris and Curtis saying hi. Right. Where was I? The short flight from Brussels, flight 9955, up next. And a similar flight number behind it. This is 9955, the other one is 1188 arriving from Bergen. Right, bird control vehicle is continuing to the north. Will no longer be obstructing our view that much. That's good news. Now this airplane is arriving from Bergen, and can I see it? Flying alongside me to the north is a 737-700 outbound to Bergen, which I'm not seeing. I am hearing it. Do see a little airplane that isn't producing a contrail flying overhead. Oh wait, there it is. So this airplane is arriving from Bergen. And this airplane is returning to the same destination, to Bergen. Nice coincidence. Does look like the sun shade is out on this side in the cockpit. Right, and then up next is going to be KLM flight 1780, an Embraer 190 returning from Hamburg. Now Thijs, thank you so much for your super sticker, drooling face. Thank you so much for that, Thijs, very much appreciated. Jink Cathay's father, good morning. Hey there Ben, tuning in from South Africa. Ben says, thanks for the great stream, love it. Glad you're enjoying it, mate, hope everybody is. Sticking around until the A380 has landed at least, which is expected in half an hour or so from now, maybe a little bit more than half an hour from now. Mrs. Professor says, I'm off to bed now. That's unfortunate, but I understand it is quite late already where you are living, so thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to check back for the A380 landing. That's the probably the only highlight that you're going to miss out on now. Sleep tight, see you on the next one, Mrs. Professor. And Jin, as you can hear, my throat is still a bit, my voice is a little hoarse still, and I still have a little bit of a cough, remnant from a cold infection from 2 weeks ago. Other than that, I'm doing perfectly fine. Yeah, my nose is running, but that is always the case when the temperature outside is below room temperature. Cannot wait for spring-like weather, and I think most Dutchies and Brits and Belgians do too. Let's try that cockpit view again. Difficult with the wind, particularly with image stabilizer enabled. Right, this is the Schiphol marathon that you're seeing for Coots. We've got Chris and Colin. Colin in the lead, but Chris is attacking. Who's going to come out ahead? Now for the triathlon, I thought it was a marathon, but it seems to be a triathlon. Now there's swimming part. Swing to the bicycles for the cycling to commence. Definitely an uphill swim today. Let's continue with the triathlon for Coots later and see what is cooking in the sky. Our next airplane. KLM flight 1166. Embraer 190 arriving from Helsinki, Finland, where this airplane left from 2 hours and 5 minutes ago. The airplane is 10 years old. The first flight was February 2014. Now, an awful lot of narrow bodies we've seen. Where are the heavies? Let's see, zooming out on flight radar a little bit. Seems that we're stuck with narrow bodies inbound for the next couple of minutes. Now we are going to switch it up from Embraers with the next airplane to arrive. Now, it's not going to shock you in surprise, but it is a Transavia instead of a KLM Embraer. It's a 737-800 arriving from Valencia. Looking up, big chunks of blue sky. I'm looking around to see if I can spot some contrails, but it does look like there isn't a lot of humidity in the upper atmosphere, and I haven't seen any contrails yet. Now Are the seagulls going to start the triathlon in a minute, starting with the running and then the swimming? Or will they continue doing nothing there, sitting in, well, standing there in the sunshine? Doesn't seem like they're doing much. Now, did not see that. Thank you, Paul, for reminding me. Boss, thank you so much for your super sticker. A bear character turning around, waving his hand, saying "Hey you" while lowering his glasses. It sounds like an awesome one. Thank you so much for that, boss. Sorry that I missed it. Talking about missing stuff. Yeah, landing of the Transavia. Little butt shot courtesy of Transavia. Right, we are going to continue with switching things up. Anadolu jet up next. An A320 arriving from Istanbul. Already relatively close by. Flight time 2 hours and 56 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old. The first flight was in June 2010. Alrighty. Back to another Embraer it is. The next airplane arriving from JD's hometown, Düsseldorf, KLM flight 1856. Light stop shots are improving to the north. We can see two airplanes now. The airplane behind it is a 737-700 from KLM, arriving from Rome, KLM flight 1598. But first up, KLM flight 1856, arriving from Düsseldorf, Embraer 190. Short flight, 30 minutes. A mere 100 nautical miles according to flight radar. This particular airplane is 10 years old. First flight of this airplane was in October 2013. Nice that the sun is out again. Pity that it is getting ever more windy, or at least so it seems. Perpetual windiness over here. I have to say I'm growing a little bit tired of it. But what can you do about it? Right. Russell also back, and the rest of the crew. Meanwhile, a flyby of Sally or Stephen, continuing further to the north, to the south I should say. Get my bearings straight. Looks like another combo shot is in the making of trucks, Scania and Boeing huddled together. Although it does seem that the airplane now has a little bit of a lead. So who knows, maybe just a close flyby. KLM flight 1598, returning from Rome. A 737-700, which you can recognize by the stubbiness of the fuselage and the relatively big tail. One size fits all. The airplane 15 years old. And the photo bomb from behind. Right, time to switch it up a little, go to a little bit bigger bird. This is KLM flight 792. It is a 777-300ER arriving from Sao Paulo in Brazil. This airplane is now underway for 10 hours and 44 minutes. Relatively new still. First flight of this airplane was in December 2020. Making its way over as we are awaiting the imminent arrival of the Emirates A380. Also a massive big thank you to Sarah for just now gifting 5 memberships. That is very much appreciated, very generous, Sarah. If you are one of the recipients, don't forget to thank Sarah for the gifted membership, and don't forget to use those custom emojis that are now at your disposal whenever you see fit. Thank you so much once again, Sarah, for 5 new members. Now, can definitely see that the wind is picking up a little bit. Looked like it was floating a bit longer than the pilot originally intended. Oh! One of the birds thought it was in a match. Oh wow, look at that! Finally! Finally! Now, let's see. From east to west and flying still a little south of me. This is the twin jet. Looks like it is going to cross a little north of me. Looks like it is flying to the northwest a little bit, more west than north. Very near my zenith. Bit tricky to follow. Let me take over with my other hand. Let's see, is that a Dreamliner? Is that Lufthansa? Hard to see. Looks almost all white except for a bit of color, it looks like, on the tail. Well, you guys tell me what it was that I was filming. already. Jin Cathay spotter has to head out to work. Thank you so much for joining, Jin. And nice zoom indeed. That's combined optical zoom and digital zoom. Makes for a little bit of pixelated footage on occasion if you go too far with it. But it can enhance your footage a little bit when used sparingly and wisely. This is Turkish flight 1961 arriving from Istanbul. Unlike its bigger sibling, not an A330 but a 737. Me myself says United 777. Optimus Toaster says, or maybe 7810 Munich to Chicago. There is another contrail visible over there. So it is opening up a little bit, albeit temporarily. Still looking to the west. More clouds oversea. There is still an area of rain expected to enter into the Netherlands from the west-southwest later in the day. So we are now actually experiencing the best hours in terms of weather for this day here in the Netherlands. The next airplane to arrive is Vueling flight 8309, arriving from Barcelona. Touching down after nearly 2 hours of flight, 1 hour and 50 minutes. The airplane is 9 years old. The first flight May 2014, an A320. Let's see if we can do another zoom in on the cockpit. And a bit less wind momentarily. Green light already mentions that the A380 is assigned to the center runway. That is a pity. Not completely out of the blue, but at least we will be able to see it from over here. Our next airplane is arriving from Kuwait. Kuwait Airways flight 127, an A320neo. This airplane has been flying for nearly 6 hours, 5 hours and 48 minutes. Years old, first flight April 2020. Or should I say, oh, Kuwait. It never stops blowing here, does it? Now, the silver lining is that we have a crisp glide slope shot here with two airplanes on the glide slope. In the foreground, an Embraer 175 arriving from Newcastle, KLM flight 962. Behind it is a KLM Dreamliner 10 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Now, no number 3, unfortunately, just two airplane glide slope shots today. I think that's the most we can get today. It's a bit too windy to do those extreme close-ups actually. Footage becomes a bit too shaky. Right, KLM flight 622 up next. 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. This airplane has been flying for 7 hours and 38 minutes to get here. This airplane began flying in December 2019, making it 4 years old. Marne, good afternoon to you too. Thank you for the kind words, mate. Glad that you're enjoying the show, and I hope that goes for everybody. Despite my crappy voice. A pity that most of these KLM heavy pilots don't use their reversers. Such a waste of potential. But then again, if you don't need to use it, why do you? Why should you? There is something to be said for not using the reversers. Then again, for us, the viewer, also likes to hear something, it is a missed opportunity. Alright, well, another 2 airplanes on the glide slope, both from KLM. There's a third one approaching from the left. Let's see if we can spot it, because I think we should be able to see it. There's an Embraer 175 arriving from Humberside that, according to flight radar, should approach from the left. Yeah, at 7 to 8 o'clock of the number 2. Far left, same altitude, well, now a bit higher than the airplane in the foreground. The first 3 airplane glide slope shot of the day, I think. Where's Jerry for the occasion? Right, KLM flight 1060 returning from Cardiff, Embraer 175, flight time 59 minutes. And that's a silky smooth touchdown if I ever saw one. Right, back with another 2 airplane glide slope shot then. In the foreground, KLM flight 934, 737-900 arriving from Dublin in the background. The Embraer 175 that just turned onto the glide stop in the background, arriving from Humberside. KLM flight 934, returning from Dublin, where this airplane departed from 1 hour and 10 minutes ago. It's the biggest of the 737s, the 900. This one is 19 years old already. Began flying in April 2004. Jerry or Jackie almost sounds the same, absolutely. Now in the meantime, the wind in birds having difficulty flying against the wind, and the chimney scale visualized once more. Chimney smoke leaving nearly horizontally, and I do believe that the first airplane to arrive parallel to the central runway is also approaching. KLM flight 1486 is now in view. This is the Embraer 175 returning from Humberside, where this airplane took off from 46 minutes ago. The airplane is 6 years old. The first flight was in January 2018. And the first airplane to the center runway is another Embraer 175 from Lot, arriving from Warsaw. Don't see it just yet, but it should be somewhere in the background. Oh yeah, there it is. Pixelated because I'm now fully zoomed in digitally 400 times in addition to the optical zoom. This is the top end of optical zoom. So parallel arrivals have begun. Meanwhile, an E2 Embraer 195 outbound to Göteborg is also passing by. Where is it? Come on, I know I saw you somewhere. There you are. Here too pixelated because it well into the digital zoom range of the camera. And you're getting a bit seasick because navigating with the with the wind is becoming a bit more difficult than in the beginning of the stream when the wind wasn't blowing so hard. The image stabilizer didn't have to be engaged yet. Our next airplane to Polderbaan is an A320neo arriving from Belfast, EasyJet flight 23051. Still far out. Embraer 175 arriving from Warsaw, flight 263 is approaching the center runway, the first one of the next round of parallel arrivals. Lot flight 263 having departed from Warsaw 1 hour and 42 minutes ago. It's an Embraer 175, 12 years old already. The first flight was in February 2012. And Zampon representing Poland, where this airplane is coming from today. And good to see you, Zampon. Hope all is well. Right, let's go back into that digital zoom range a little bit. Right, well, said it before, I'll say it again. There is precipitation expected later in the day. Now once again more darker skies are approaching from the southwest and south. Not sure if this is the first bit of the rainy area that is expected later in the day. Did not check at any point while live streaming today the weather radar. But we should stay dry here until the A380 has landed. Shouldn't be too far out anymore. Unfortunately going to center, as you guys saw already, with current visibility. No issues in following it until it has landed. Bit too windy to my liking to follow it perfectly still, but I'll do my best as always. Right, now that A380 is already coming. Here it is. Emirates flight 147. The daily flight between Dubai and Amsterdam, and by the sound of my voice I'm also going to call it the last airplane of the day. Give my voice a bit of rest so that I don't lose it entirely. It is in the standard livery, still the old standard livery. Our members have access to the updated and soon to become new standard livery with the ribbon tail. Emirates flight 147, normally speaking around 6.5 hours on the way to reach this point from Dubai, and today the flight time has been 6 hours and 44 minutes. So a bit longer than average, which is interesting because all of the flights from Istanbul were a bit faster than average. So they either flew a different course or must have had a lot of headwind in the part until they were approximately in the vicinity of Istanbul. This particular airplane is 10 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Began flying in April of the year 2013, so it will turn 11 next month. Alright, QJ asks about the LATAM Cargo. I see that that is the immediate next airplane to Polderbaan after the A380 has landed. So this is the penultimate airplane, and LATAM Cargo will then be the last airplane. That's no problem, of course. What an unfortunate timing. That is Chucky. Of all the airplanes landing parallel to the A380, it had to be Chucky, but we did get to see it, albeit only a glimpse. I do believe that the clouds that we are seeing is in fact the beginning of the area of rain that was expected to enter into the country later in the day, because my phone just gave me a warning that in my hometown, which is a bit more to the south, 10 miles to the south or 15 kilometers to the south of where we are currently standing, it was going to rain soon for a longer period of time. So this is definitely going to be the last airplane because the rain is also getting closer by. LATAM Cargo flight 1505, a Boeing 767-300ER, arriving from Miami, Florida, wobbling a little bit back and forth. 8 hours and 28 minutes underway now. The airplane is 18 years old. The first flight was in October 2005. And after that, I am going to wrap it up for today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look and listen. This might get loud. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, but all for nothing. But then again, always nice to see those 767s. Don't see them very often. I think LATAM Cargo and Iceland Air are currently the only airline carriers regularly still flying them to Amsterdam. So on that bombshell, it is time to end. I hope you guys liked what you saw and enjoyed the stream. If you have enjoyed it and haven't done so already, don't forget to drop another like into the pond of likes. It really helps to spread this content to more aviation fans such as yourselves. If you want to stay in front of upcoming live streams, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you all so much again for another wonderful stream. It has been very enjoyable, and I hope the same goes for you. Thanks for all the support, the super chats, the super stickers, the PayPal donations, the merch store purchases. Your support is what keeps this channel going, and this channel wouldn't be at 15k subscribers already in a year if it hadn't been for you guys. So thank you all so much once again. Also a big thank you to the moderators for keeping the chat friendly and accessible once more. I hope that tomorrow the weather will be good enough to go, that I will be able to go out. Don't know yet what the weather will be. Time will tell. If not tomorrow, then hopefully on Sunday or on Monday. I will see you then, hopefully. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. See you soon, and bye for now.